the story of what happened to a Charlotte woman in Mexico continues right now to evolve.
She was a strong, brilliant black woman, the best that we had to offer the world.
Who is this lady, and what happened to her? Shanquella Robinson, born on January 9, 1997, was a successful American businesswoman. She started a fashion brand for women and was also good at styling hair. She lived in North Carolina and graduated from HBCU Winston-Salem State University. In her hometown, Charlotte, Shanquella ran several boutique beauty and children's hair braiding businesses under her Exquisite Kids and Exquisite Boutique brands. On October 28, 2022, Shanquella went to Mexico with her friend and 5 others. They were also called the Cabo Six. They stayed at Puerto Los Cabos Resort, a fancy place in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Sadly, something bad happened during this trip, and Shanquella's life turned into an unresolved mystery. On October 29th, a day after they got to Mexico, around 2:13 p.m., a doctor from the American Medical Center in Cabo San Lucas called because someone at the resort wasn't feeling well. At the same time, Shanquella's mom, Shaquella Robinson, got a call from one of Shanquella's friends on the trip. They said Shanquella was sick and a doctor was on the way to help her. Dr. Carolina Beatriz Ornelas Gutierrez came from the American Medical Center and reached there in about an hour. She found Shanquella in stable condition but not doing well. She was dehydrated, confused, couldn't talk, and seemed like she had too much to drink. The reason given to the doctor was that Shanquella had drunk a lot of alcohol. The doctor thought it would be better if Shanquella went to the hospital, but her friends insisted on treating her in the apartment. While getting medical care, the doctor tried to give Shanquella an IV drip. But things got worse when she had a seizure around 4:13 p.m., about an hour after the doctor came. An ambulance was called at around 4:20 p.m. because Shanquella had trouble breathing, and her pulse was dropping. Sadly, she then had a cardiac arrest. Around 4:49 p.m., paramedics came to the scene, trying to help Shanquella Robinson. They did a lot. 14 rounds of chest compressions, injections, and electrical shocks from a defibrillator, all to bring back her heartbeat and other vital signs. Sadly, despite all these efforts, they couldn't revive her. The police report says Shanquella was declared clinically dead at 5:57 p.m. At that point, no one knew exactly why she died or what happened. It was a big mystery. What about her friends who were with her? Did they know what happened? The police had to figure it out. 2 police officers, Omar and David, were the first to arrive around 5:25 p.m. They talked to Dr. Ornelas Gutierrez, who said they were called for a young lady who had too much alcohol. She explained that she found Shanquella in stable but unresponsive condition. The plan was to take her to the hospital, but her friends wanted her treated in the hotel room. Sadly, things got worse even after the paramedics arrived. After Shanquella was declared dead, the police officers told the state attorney, Julio Daniel, about it at around 6:35 p.m. They were told to file reports and investigate the case. The police report and Dr. Ornelas Gutierrez's information suggested Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning about 2 hours and 45 minutes after the doctor was called. The police report didn't mention any injuries. Based on all this, the U.S. State Department first said there was no clear evidence that Shanquella was murdered, according to Mexican authorities. But things started feeling suspicious at this point. On November 5th, they released an official translation of Shanquella Robinson's death certificate. It was based on a report from a forensic doctor named René A. Galvan Oseguera from the Secretariat of Health in Baja California Sur. The report said Shanquella passed away 15 minutes after a serious spinal cord injury and an atlas luxation, which is when the skull base separates from the first bone of the neck. The doctor made these observations in the autopsy report.
According to the death certificate from Mexico, the 25-year-old died from a severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, a dislocated neck. There was no mention of alcohol or cardiac arrest.
Surprisingly, the report didn't mention cardiac arrest or alcohol poisoning. Shanquella's family was worried and wanted justice because it seemed like she was badly killed.
I want everything to come out because I want justice for my child.
There was a lot of confusion about her death. Who did it and why? It was a big puzzle. On November 16th, the U.S. Department of State acknowledged they knew about what happened.
The reality is, it's a homicide case. And it doesn't change what you investigate. It doesn't change what evidence you need to convict somebody.
On the other side, Shanquella's mom, Shanquella Robinson, shared in an interview that her family started doubting her daughter's travel buddies. Each of them came back with a different story, and each story had inconsistencies.
For them to go back to Mexico and do their 20, 30, 40 years, whatever they give them, and they need to pay for what they did to her.
Some said a maid found Shanquella unconscious. Others said they called a doctor, and there was confusion about who called the doctor. Some said it was the apartment concierge. At first, they claimed Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning, but a few days later, they changed the story, saying there was a fight and she was jumped. The confusion continued about where they found Shanquella. Some said on the floor, another in a bed, and another in a chair. Shanquella's mom said that her daughter's acquaintances first said it was alcohol poisoning, which surprised her because a doctor hadn't even arrived, and she was told one was on the way. She mentioned suggesting her daughter go to the emergency room. Still, the travel companions lied, saying her daughter's travel insurance wasn't useful in Mexico, and the emergency room needed $5,000 in cash.
And he said, well, they say you have to have cash money. I said, well, she has insurance.
Doubts increased when the autopsy report showed a broken neck as the cause of death, not alcohol poisoning. In an interview with Queen City News, Ms. Robinson revealed that her daughter, Shanquella Robinson, had visible signs of injury on her body. A bump on her head, a bruised face, a swollen eye, and a busted lip. After being brought back to the United States, Shanquella's body was repatriated on November 12th, just before her November 19th funeral service at Macedonia Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. For over 2 weeks, the family tried to convince authorities in the United States and Mexico that Shanquella's death was suspicious and needed further investigation. Robinson's sister, Quilla Long, stated in a GoFundMe post, a fundraising page for legal fees, that the family will continue investigating. Mexican journalist Gerardo Zuniga, who covers regional news in Baja California Sur, began reporting on Shanquella Robinson's murder after investigating the death of 73-year-old American retiree Rodney Davis. Davis was kidnapped and murdered while hiking and camping in Laredo, Juncalito, Baja California Sur. In mid-November 2022, journalists were informed by local police that Shanquella Robinson was killed 4 days after Rodney Davis. Rumors circulated about a video of the incident being shared among Winston-Salem students. What the leaked video indicates shocked all. The video shows a disturbing scene in a bedroom where a naked African-American woman is violently attacked by one of her female friends. Shanquella Robinson verified that the girl being assaulted in the video was her daughter. In the video, a person goes into a furious rage and starts hitting Robinson violently. They throw a series of punches at her head, moving her from one side of a big hotel bed to another. The attacker also yanks her neck, throws her to the floor, continues hitting her face, and even kicks her head with their knee. Finally, they stumble back to the other side of the room, ending the assault on Robinson. During the attack, there were at least 2 other people present. A guy recorded the assault, and another person filmed the guy capturing the event. In the footage, you can hear the male suggesting to Robinson, "Quella, can you at least fight back? At least something?" Robinson responds with a firm no, indicating she wasn't interested in fighting. It raised questions about why no one stepped in to stop the beating of a naked friend, especially such a brutal attack in the middle of a hotel room. Instead, people chose to record the beating on their cell phones. The media has also questioned why those involved or witnessing a potential murder or violence were allowed to freely return to the United States without facing any arrests or questioning. On November 16th, the investigators in Baja California Sur, Mexico, reopened their examination into Robinson's death as a potential femicide.
Charlotte just announcing they've opened an investigation into the death of Shanquella Robinson. She's the Charlotte woman who mysteriously died while vacationing in Mexico.
They confirmed they revisited the crime scene, collecting more evidence to understand what happened clearly. In their statement, they mentioned receiving a call on October 29th about a woman found dead in a house in San Jose del Cabo. Local authorities, including the police and a doctor, are also under investigation for possible negligence, misconduct, and neglect of duties related to the case. The FBI in Charlotte, North Carolina, started its investigation into Shanquella Robinson's death in Cabo San Lucas. They confirmed their separate inquiry and mentioned having no further comments due to the ongoing investigation. FBI agents from the Charlotte field office were reported to have visited the crime scene in Los Cabos. However, on April 12, 2023, U.S. authorities announced they would not pursue criminal charges related to Shanquella Robinson's death.
Obviously, everyone knows that the FBI has released their statement indicating that they don't plan on filing any charges after investigating Shanquella's case.
They claimed that the evidence was insufficient, and in response, Robinson's mother criticized the U.S. authorities.
This is just terrible. And then they had a video that went viral. The whole world seen the video, and there's been no arrest.
On November 23rd, the Attorney General of Baja California announced a court order for the arrest of Robinson's friend Dejanae Jackson, identified as the direct aggressor in Shanquella Robinson's death.
Mexican authorities issued an arrest warrant 2 weeks ago for one of the friends.
The prosecutor's office is collaborating with Mexican and U.S. officials, issuing an Interpol red alert and exploring extradition. The governor confirmed the shift from accidental to a femicide investigation. An arrest warrant is reported for a travel companion, but no official charges have been made yet. Sadly, Robinson didn't get justice for her murder, and her friends let her down. Watch out for people around you. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more explorations into history's most intriguing mysteries. Until next time, stay curious, stay vigilant, and as always, seek the truth.